Greetings. I'm Thomas Caldwell of the Aurelian Column, and this is Movie Night. Most people go to the movies or watch films or watch videos to distract themselves from the world we're in. But of course, there's also the other way of looking at these things as educational tools. Now, back in the 1980s and into the 1990s, Americans especially were into alternative forms of spirituality, something out of the mainstream, something that was new, something that was different. Kind of like what went on in the 60s, except with far more education and far more serious intent. And that, of course, involved looking into other religions and other parts of the world. And one, of course, would be at the top of the list would be Buddhism. Yes, Buddhism. Now, I know I recently did a movie review on Tibetan Buddhism, but some people contacted me and said, well, is there one good movie about Buddhism that I could watch so I can get a grasp of the whole thing? And in my view, there is. Now, there's been many movies done about Buddhism, but Buddhism is probably the most complicated religious tradition on the planet. Tens of thousands of documents and traditions and all sorts of things. But back in 1993, a movie came out that was the informal sequel to The Last Emperor. And that was, of course, a movie by Bernardo Bertolucci, the amazing Italian director who sadly isn't with us anymore. Now, the movie about Buddhism, which is geared towards teaching Westerners about the tradition and the differences between the cultures where it came from and the culture it was trying to be applied to, is Little Buddha, starring Keanu Reeves, Ying-Ro Cheng, and Bridget Fonda. This movie came out in '93, and it was put out by Miramax, and it did okay at the box office, but it was mostly panned by the critics, who are very good at doing that sort of things, because it was a very deep, very well thought out, somewhat esoteric creation. Now, the movie is about a Western family who's sought out by Tibetan monks who are looking for the reincarnation of their teacher. They think they find him in modern Seattle, at least Seattle back then. And then they go on an adventure to Bhutan, where they meet other possible candidates to be this great teacher. And I won't spoil it for you. It's an interesting narrative, but it also weaves in flashbacks to 2,500 years ago when Buddha was actually around. And that part was filmed in Bhutan. It was done with amazing amounts of research, with Indian actors from Bhutan, and others from around the world. It's a very well thought out story with a moral to it, and at the same time, in as brief an explanation as can be made, it does explain Buddhist principles. Not deeply, but in an entertaining way. Now, Keanu Reeves, if you can imagine him playing the part of Buddha, and I'm not joking, he does. He does an excellent job of playing Siddhartha, the man who became the Buddha. This was before The Matrix, of course, and this is before he was all that famous. He was very young and a little bit awkward in it, but he did a great job. Now, the actor who's in here that I find most fascinating is a Chinese character actor named Ying-Ro Cheng. You might remember him from the movie Last Emperor. He played the prison warden, who was eventually done in by the Red Guards. This guy is fascinating. He's probably one of the most fascinating actors from the Far East that have graced the screens in probably since the Cultural Revolution. He was the Vice Minister of Culture in the late 80s in the People's Republic of China. Yes, he was a politician. He was also a stage actor. He was also a translator. He translated all of the Shakespeare plays into Mandarin. He also played in the play Death of a Salesman, done in Mandarin. I kid you not. This guy was amazing. He also suffered a great deal during the Cultural Revolution, and in the movie, you have this former Chinese official playing the role of a Tibetan monk. And in some scenes, they have a picture of the Dalai Lama. And in one scene, they actually have the Tibetan flag. So how they got away with this, I don't know. But he did an absolutely marvelous job. And if you ask me, he's the main star, not Keanu Reeves. Bridget Fonda is also in this movie when she was young, beautiful, and long before she quit Hollywood to raise a family. What I really love about this movie is the way the Italians do things when they really get Italian about it. They put colors into places, and they put moods into places in ways that you usually don't see in most American cinema. It's a very entertaining movie, but it's also very educational. It's not for everybody. If you're looking for a simple flick to escape from everything, this is not exactly it. The other thing, too, is that Japanese composer Ryuichi Sakamoto did the soundtrack, which was breathtaking. And I found it absolutely enjoyable, and I have the CD still in my collection. Sadly, Yingluo Chen is no longer with us, and neither is Mr. Sakamoto, and neither is Mr. Bertolucci. But this is a wonderful film. It's underrated, but it's hard to find. I couldn't find it on any streaming services. You can buy DVDs of it, and there are a few places you can download it for free. I won't say where, but if you look around for it, you might find it. It's a very good movie. It's family-friendly. It deals with life, death, rebirth, and it won't make you a Buddhist necessarily, but it will put an interesting spin on life and existence. Again, the movie is Little Buddha, 1993, came out from Miramax, directed by Bernardo Bertolucci, starring Keanu Reeves, Yingluo Chen, and Bridget Fonda. You can find it if you look for it. And if you find it, keep it. It's worth having. That's it for today. If you appreciate my work, please like, subscribe, and share. Share with your friends and share with your enemies, and hope they become friends. And if you can consider a paid subscription, that would be appreciated. It will keep the lights on, literally and figuratively. I can be reached at feedback@aureliancolumn.com. That's feedback@aureliancolumn.com. I'm up on X. My handle there is MICCAMPEN. That's MICCAMPEN. This podcast originates at Substack. My handle there is aureliancolumn.substack.com. Until we meet again, be good, be safe, be vigilant. Don't forget the popcorn, and don't forget to read the credits at the end of the movie. Good day.